Hello, hello. You are here at Let's Talk Fabulous Show with yours truly, guest host Barbara J. Beckley. Yes, I'm back. I had a little break because I had another wonderful guest host come on, Mrs. Kim, and I know you had fun with her. So we're doing, we're tag teaming. So today, as you can see, I have my sunglasses on again. And what does that mean? We're doing something regarding summer. And what I really love is we're doing something summer when it's talking about health tips for eating, any kind of holistic health, anything that really has to do with health. I'm just going to put it out there. So, you know what? We have a wonderful panel that's coming on. They're going to talk about this, a fabulous panel. You've seen them before, and they're going to share some wonderful tips with health. So we're going to let's get started. Let's talk. Okay, we have our wonderful panelists here. Yay! I had to take these sunglasses off. They were kind of with my glasses, like, whoo. They'll come on probably eventually. So we're going to welcome everybody in. But before we meet this wonderful panelists, the gurus of health, I call them, the wonderful queens, and everybody I call the lady queens. I want to hear from another wonderful queen. She's my sidekick host that comes on, virtual sidekick host. So we will hear from Renee, and then we will get started.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renee Reich, founder of Find Your Voice Network, Find Your Voice Network magazine, #1 best-selling author for Find Your Voice, Unlock Your Chains, and Unleash Your Greatness, and women's life and leadership coach. Welcome to today's fabulous show. We will be joined by guest host Barbara J. Beckley, and she will be joined by expert panelists speaking about living a healthy summer. And what does that mean from your mental health to the foods we eat? You're going to want to grab your pens and paper as always and sit back, relax, and enjoy this fabulous show. It is one you're going to want to stick around for to the end because there's always wonderful tips and tools you will be learning about. So, Barbara, thank you so much. Take it away. Have a fabulous show.
Thank you so much, Renee, for that. I appreciate you as always, lady. You're a queen, and I throw the kisses right back to you. Now, she just said, what did she say? One thing at the end: pen, pad of paper. I know I'm old school. I always tell people I got the old thing because there's a lot of notes we'll be taking today from these ladies. So what we want to do, I want to make sure they introduce themselves. I mean, you're looking at these wonderful faces up here, but you're like, who are they, Barbara? Let them introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with the lady at the top, Mrs. Caprice.
Hi, everyone. I'm so honored to be here. This is such a fab show, as the title says, and it's an honor to be here. I'm a certified health coach. I specialize in plant nutrition, and I have an everyday passion to help people learn simple ways. It is simple to lead a healthier life and with vitality and energy until, we should live to 120. And that's my goal to help people do.
Ooh. Wow, that'd be good. As long as I can walk and talk and everything at 120, yes, I get it. I want to be here. Okay, our next wonderful person, Nicole.
Hello, I'm Nicole. I'm a functional wellness practitioner with Help You Get Healthy. I'm super excited to be here, so thank you, Barbara, for having us. My goal is always to help people live a more natural life and get off their medications, especially people who have leaky gut and autoimmune issues.
Ooh, you're talking my language, lady. You're talking my language. Okay, the fabulous, wonderful Queen.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm Nori Love. I am a holistic universal coach and nurse. And although a lot of what I do is on the physical level, getting your body back in shape, getting your health back, the foundation of it underneath behind the scenes is body, mind, spirit, and soul. So I work a lot with energy, and I hope to share some of that with you today. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you. Your last name precedes you.
Thank
Love.
you.
And last but not least, the wonderful Cheryl.
Hello, I am Cheryl M. Health Muse. I'm a muse because I want to inspire you to adopt healthier habits. I'm also known as the Rainbow Queen because I want you to eat real, whole, organic foods of all the colors of the rainbow. So I spend a lot of time on that. I want to change the way America eats, but I have 20 years of health altogether. So I'm thrilled to be part of this panel. We have done this before, and we always have a really great time.
And I'm just, like I said, I'm really happy because I get to share the panel with you because it's my first time meeting you ladies, and already just hearing what you do for health and making sure people are really living that life. Like you said, to be 120, and you could do that, but you have to do the healthy tips, right? So before we get into some talks and some conversations about this, I found out today is a special day, and I was kind of interested in what it was. So I'm going to play a video of the special day. It's called Lemonade Day. Here it comes. So I love the music. It kind of gets us started with that little Jamaican type of, Caribbean stuff going on. And we're talking about summer. It's still summer. So, but before I even start, I want to make sure we do this too. I want to send out any hearts, virtual hearts, virtual hugs. If you pray, everything, anything that you believe in, because I know there's a hurricane going. Is it in the South California? I want to make sure I'm right. I know I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just about to cross over the border of California from Baja, Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to make sure that we're putting all the love and hugs for all of the individuals, all the people that are in that area. Make sure that, nothing even worse happens, because, with that, you never know. So we want to make sure that we're loving on our, everybody out there. We're showing about love, just like Noe said about that. So
it's about to hit. I'm in Southern California, and I thought we're doing a summer tips, and there's the first tropical storm / hurricane hitting here at this moment, but it's not that heavy yet. But about 1 to 3, it's supposed to be heavier. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not too bad yet. We've been having drizzle all morning. So, but it's
don't worry. It's not. Some people are getting hit harder though. There's always pockets.
Yeah. Well, either we want to just make sure we're showing that love. So everybody put in the chat. There we go. See, everybody got there. We go. So now that Caprice, now that you kind of started off with that, I want to play some words of tips that you gave, and then I want us to, as a panel, to discuss that, because I kind of love your topic, what you talked about. I don't want to say it until you hear it, but we'll get into it once we hear her clip.
Hi, I'm Caprice Crebar, your certified health coach. And this summer, you can drink as much as you want at those summer barbecues, at your beach parties, when you're gathering with your friends, and it doesn't have to have alcohol in it. I'm going to teach you some simple mocktails, some ways that you can cut your calories, cut your sugar, cut your potential to lead to disease and problems that come from drinking alcohol, and summer can be a really high time for that. So you're going to learn some mocktail tips, and if you still would like to imbibe, I've got some tips for some healthy options when you do choose alcohol. 。
Love it, love it, love it. So, Caprice, I love mocktails. And, I want you to talk a little bit more about that, just about, drinking in the summer anyway. So, I love your tips on that. Can you give more depth on it?
Absolutely. And you're talking to a woman that loves her wine. Okay, so I'll be 55 this year, and I can tell you that it's a habit. I mean, for those people that are drinking, it's just a habit. It's the same thing when you're eating. Maybe it's fast food or something that may not be serving you well. Your body just gets in the habit and it just craves it. It doesn't mean that you're an alcoholic if you're drinking more than what they're recommending the moderate daily amount is. It's nobody's having, the moderate. It's next to nothing. So don't feel bad. Just know that you have control to shift out of that habit. And it only takes 21 days to kick a habit. And I can tell you that personally. As I've aged, I've noticed that it is serving me less and less and less. And we just, parties with friends, summer barbecues, pool parties, going out with girlfriends. It seems like everybody wants to crack open a bottle of wine and opening up a nice, Cabernet when you're cooking dinner. That just became a habit. And it's very easy to break that. So one of the ways that you can break it is just by knowing, by education and knowledge as to what that alcohol is doing to you. And what happens is that your body has to break down the alcohol in your liver using these enzymes that the byproduct of is damaging to your health. And so every time you drink alcohol, it's using that energy and creating that damage from the enzymes that have to break down the alcohol that's damaging your cells and leading to free radical damage, which leads to disease. So that's happening every time you drink. So just keep that in mind. That'll help you change that habit. Also, a lot of people drink alcohol to relax and they think it's going to help them sleep. And it doesn't. Alcohol does not help you sleep. In fact, it does the opposite. And so when your body, when you get alcohol in the body, it triggers pathways to break it down. But what happens is it uses this energy, it uses these enzymes that actually take away from your body's desire and design to actually help you heal and repair your cells overnight. So all your energy, even from digesting food, that's why they say don't eat food too late, because you need that 8 hours of sleep at night for your body to do what it was designed to do, to repair and heal your cells. And it can't do it if it's digesting food very, very well, and it can't do it if it's trying to break down alcohol and then having further damage because of it. So if that helps you kick the habit, that was the main thing, for me. And so there's more, but I want to let others join in here. So I'll teach you all kinds of mocktails. It's very easy. Your key is going to be using club soda, and there's a wide variety. Now, many of you here are probably like, club soda, no, don't get, don't buy those store-bought Perriers and things like that, because there's certain damaging side effects of those. But what I love is my soda stream. You probably can't see it because of my background, but all you have to do is have your bottled water, stick it in the soda stream. There's no electricity needed. You just put the air in it through a pump and you make your own healthy club soda.
Wow. Amazing. Okay, wait a minute. I have to do this because that was some... Powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. Thank you, Patrice, because I always, I used to drink a lot. I'm like you. I like my wine to a certain extent, but it's funny how something can make you feel so good, and you're out there in the summertime just dancing stuff, and then you go rest, you go home, and you're like, oh God, and you wake up, and you're like, oh. So I love how you explain that. Alcohol does not help. I mean, you're not getting the rest. It's trying to break down things in your body. And that's why you feel so sluggish and everything else the next day. See, when you know better, you do better. That's what I was saying.
If I can add one more thing to it, and I actually have to read these words because I always forget them. But when you're drinking alcohol for relaxation and it gives you that relaxed, laid back feeling, you're actually creating alpha activity in your body. And the alpha activity actually conflicts with what's called the delta waves that occur when your body's trying to get into deep sleep. So that's why you tend to fall asleep because you're drowsy, but then you'll wake up in the middle of the night because you're having this opposing action in your body that confuses your body and takes all this extra work, and you can't sleep, get a deep sleep.
Wow. Amazing. Everybody have your pen and paper. I hope you're taking those notes. Okay, anybody want to chime in with what Caprice is saying? Okay, Miss Cheryl.
I gave up alcohol several years ago when I got fibromyalgia. And what I do now when company comes is I have great gallon glass bottles and I use filtered water and then I stuff them with fruit and like berries and raspberries or bananas and cucumbers or any kind of different fruit. Mint is great to infuse in water. And I make a whole series of them so people can choose which infused water they want to drink. And they're all non-alcoholic. And people are kind of wowed by how beautiful the colors are and how great they taste.
Yeah. Yeah, that gets me. If it doesn't taste a certain way, even though it's supposed to be healthy, I can't drink it. I just can't. It's just so just give me something that has a little flavor in it. And make it
this does.
Just a little
Luckily,
bit.
there's a trend happening right now. I mean, there's a lot of infused drinks like that. Obviously, way better to do what Cheryl's doing, and it's so easy to do at home. But it is a nice trend to see that's becoming. The awareness is building, and people are choosing that over an unhealthy cocktail more often these days.
Awesome.
I love that. And I would love to jump in if I may. Thinking about the colorful fruit that Cheryl was talking about putting in the water, to me reminded me of self-love. So whether we're choosing to drink things that are better for us than alcohol and to eat things that are better for us, sometimes we give ourselves a pass when we go on vacation. You're like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to eat whatever I want. But the question is why, right? And the thing that I would like to invite people before they go on vacation, or not even if you're going on vacation, is to decide, what do I want for my health and my well-being, and allow that to guide you. I want to have a great vacation. I want to be relaxed. I want to be energized. I want to interact with my family. I want to fall deeper in love with my spouse. I want to have fun with my kids. I want to not need a vacation from my vacation when I get home. Mm-hmm. So when you set that intention, and you could sum all of that up as self-love, right? True self-love. When you set that intention, then you just follow your intuition. And suddenly that bottle of soda doesn't look as good as a bottle of water, or that processed sweet treat doesn't look as good as that apple really, really looks.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would love to piggyback off of that as well. A vacation could be a time to actually, I always tell people, is a time that you can actually heal your body, because we have so many stresses that happen every day, whether it's work, kids, your dog, whatever it is, all the things that are accumulating. So exactly, when you go on vacation, this is a great time for your immune system to actually build itself up and to calm things down. So you want to do that. So mocktails are a great way. I love I just want to say thank you for sharing your lemonade recipe at the beginning, and it being lemonade day. That's fantastic. And I'm going to add one thing to that. I noticed that it had some natural sugar in it, or some cane sugar. I would suggest switching that out for coconut sugar, because our bodies actually process coconut sugar. It's much easier, and it's not full of processed sugar. So I think that's a big thing when we're on our trips and we're drinking things, is not to be drinking the processed sugars. And wine, alcohol breaks into those sugars. And as Caprice was stating, actually changes your alpha and beta sleeping as well. But it also raises your cortisol, and that's your stress hormone. Mm-hmm. So when your stress cortisol goes up, that's when we're waking up at 2 and 3 in the morning. It's actually that stress cortisol, that cortisol level is going up and down, and that's when we wake up during the middle of the night.
Wow. Oh my God. That You're just teaching me so much of my body right now. You just don't know. Now I know the why. First, I was always asking, well, why is this? Why is this? Now I know why, because you explained. And this is why it's so having this awareness is so good. And I'm glad, Nicole, somebody took that with the lemonade, because I know it had the sugar in there. And I said to myself, I know somebody on this panel is going to tell us what other thing to substitute with that. So thank you, Nicole, for doing that. Now, anybody else want to chime in on that before we move on? Because I have.
I'd like to say a couple more things, if you don't mind, just another minute.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I talked a lot about sleep, but it really also, don't forget, if you're somebody that wants to kick this habit, that it interferes with your liver function and detoxification. And as someone who's seen people suffer from liver disease and kidney disease, and you really don't want to overtax it. And so if you're always putting alcohol in there and your liver and kidneys are overworking, it's going to make them run out of gas sooner. And you might end up in a dialysis center or with liver disease. And so keep that in mind as well. And I have an entire booklet of mocktails. What I typically do is I use my homemade club soda, or if I'm out, I obviously don't have the machine with me, but I'll use club soda. And then I order fresh oranges, limes, lemons, squeeze that in there. Sometimes I'll just say, hey, put some lemon juice in first, and then I'll add some limes, some cranberry juice. It's super easy. If you're somebody that's tapering down, because I'm a believer in progress, not perfection, because it's very difficult to just go cold turkey with anything. Then if you're out, just, get yourself a shot that would normally go in one cocktail, and then just have a few glasses of your club soda water with different kinds of juice and put a tiny splash in it. And that way you can taper down from the full thing to nothing eventually. So those are my tips. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, Caprice. So you know what? I want to stay, since we're talking about liquids, basically. There is a person that I pulled from, we call a person on the street with their genius of what they do. So Marva, she's in the whole health atmosphere, and she's going to give us some tips right now. And I want the panel to chime in on this after she talks about a little bit about how it's important to drink water. So let's hear her take, and we'll be right back.
It's the summertime. It's very hot this year, and I want to remind you to hydrate. Our bodies are more than 60% water, so it's important to stay well hydrated. If we're dehydrated, it can affect us mentally. We'll be low on energy, can't think straight. Our heart can be affected. We can have irregular heartbeat, hypotension, and even hypertension. It can affect our lungs. We can develop pulmonary embolus, which is blood clots in the lungs, and we can't breathe, and it could actually kill us. It can affect our kidneys, can lead to kidney failure actually. It can affect our bladder. We can develop urinary tract infections. It can affect our skin. Our skin will be dry and age. It can affect our muscles and even our joints. Sometimes we have muscle pains and joint pains. It's because we're not hydrating properly. So go ahead, have a plan, fill up your water bottle, and just keep sipping on your water all day. The recommended amount of water that we drink is at least 8 glasses or 64 ounces of water per day. Of course, it depends. It's an individual situation, but generally speaking, we need about 64 ounces of water per day. Some of us require more. So you remember now, hydrate, 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 because your body is more than 60% water. You gotta stay hydrated. This is Marva Riley.
That's so good. That's so good. That's so good.
Water. So before I know the panel has a lot of things to say, but I just want to say, I don't know, this is a little joke. that water was running in the background, and the only thing I want to do is go to the washroom. I don't know about anybody else.
That always happens. Yeah.
So let's go right into talking about the water thing. So anybody want to start?
I'd love to.
I'd love to.
Oh, we got a lot of people. Okay, let's get I'll get there you go. You can go first.
So water is essential, especially when we're on vacations. And a good rule of thumb, I love how she said most people should have 64 ounces of water a day. We actually should drink half our body weight in water in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be drinking 100 ounces of water a day. If you weigh 150, you should be drinking 75 ounces of water a day. So that's the rule of thumb. So whatever your body weight is, do half of that in ounces. And then if you're working out more, that doesn't include anything else that you drink. So a lot of people say, oh, well, I had 16 ounces of tea and I had, 2 mocktails and so I only need, this much water. So you need that much water no matter what else you drink per day. So it's super important. The other thing is to put natural electrolytes into your water. You can simply put some sea salt or some pink Himalayan salt, just a pinch of it in your water, and that will actually give you natural electrolytes. So you're not using things like Gatorade that is full of sugar. So we want to make sure that we build up those electrolytes as well. And it's super important when you're traveling that you want to drink water on a plane, since we're talking about vacations. So the plane is one of the places that we get dehydrated very quickly. With the cabin pressure is very different than what we are, on the ground. So when I travel, I tell people, a lot of people get very tired or get jet lag. That is actually dehydration. So when you go on a plane, instead of getting a sugary drink or a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever, you want to drink water on a plane. It's super essential to stay hydrated. So once you're grounded again, that you feel energized and ready to go for that vacation.
Wow. Thank you, Nicole. That is. Anybody else want to kick in? I know there's.
I would love to piggyback on Nicole's wisdom. So when you need energy and all of a sudden you're listless, I'm with Nicole. Go for water first, because it's likely that that's what your problem is. Two things. The nurse in me, the registered nurse in me, has to speak to this. 100 ounces, 68 ounces, right? So some people are not a numbers kind of person. And forgive me, there's no other way for me to, well, there is another way, but you probably won't remember. So I'm just going to say it the nurse way. How do you know if you're drinking enough water? You pee pale. You pee pale. That means that your urine is not dark gold. It's not dark yellow. It's not, God forbid, brown, right? It's more like a straw color. That's the sign that your body's receiving enough water and your kidneys are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So how do you know if suddenly you're not feeling well and the culprit might be that you're dehydrated in the summer? You'll start sweating, right? You'll start sweating. Your heart rate's going to go up. You're going to feel maybe dizzy, kind of otherworldly. And then the critical signal is you stop sweating. The minute you stop sweating, you're headed for what they call heat stroke, right? So but when you notice that you're sweating a lot, let that cue you to start drinking. And then if you're active, you're playing volleyball or you just don't have water, and all of a sudden you stop sweating, make that an emergency to go and get water. Cover up your body. Don't let more of your moisture evaporate. Cover up your body. Drink water until you start feeling better.
Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
I want to go, Cheryl. I know she's been waiting, and then I'll get to Patrice.
Yeah, whether I'm traveling or not, I try really hard never to drink water out of plastic. I take stainless steel bottles with me. They now have places where you can fill them up at airports so that you can get filtered water. Plastic water bottles, you pay $1,200 more for it, and you're getting microbes of plastic, which are forever chemicals in your body. So what do I do when I'm gone and I can't use filtered water out of my own tap system? Then I buy spring water. It does come in plastic, but I fill up my stainless containers, and I drink it from there. And there's nothing in the spring water. There's no toxins in it. And when you're water report and how many toxins are in your water system, Flint, Michigan is not unusual. So you can, even if it's a Brita on your kitchen counter, you need to be getting all the, what I call crap, all those nasty toxins out of your water when you then put it into your container of stainless that you take with you. If we're traveling by car, we have big jugs in the back that we fill up with the filtered water, so we bring our own water with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh my God. So this, I'm messing up. See, oh my God. Okay, Patrice, real quick.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things to say about water. Like all of us have so many more things like we want to say. So and to piggyback on what you said, Cheryl, I was having this conversation funny with Nicole this morning, so it's kind of coincidental. But do not drink water. If you do have to drink out of a water bottle, please make sure that you don't leave it in your car in the heat, and then go back later when it's cooled off and drink it again. That leaches so much chemical and toxins into the water. And we were talking about how it drives us crazy to see grocery stores when they have water piled up out in front in the sun on a summer. I mean, it's so damaging. So I love all of your advice there. Another thing about water is that I think we tend, a lot of people, including myself when my kids were young, we tend to feed them a lot of juices, and it's very high in sugar. It's damaging to their teeth. And so I recommend, especially to young parents, that you start doing some of the things Cheryl mentioned, lots of different fruits. If you're going to use a juice, get 100% juice and do a splash in water, not a full juice. Those things are so high in sugar. It's terrible. And we tend to get our kids conditioned on those things. And then it's really hard as they go into adulthood for them to switch to water. So please, if you have young children, start to evolve them into preferring water, because when you get older, it causes a lot of issues. People who have headaches consistently, a lot of times they're taking medications on a regular basis for chronic headaches, when just hydrating can help you have less headaches. Your brain's like 70% plus water. If you're not drinking enough water, guess what happens? Your vital organs get the water first, and all the other organs suffer. And that includes the brain. Your brain's screaming, hydrate, I need more water, I need more water, I need more water. So also for bowel movements, digestion. If imagine, I was using this example the other day, that you have a water slide and there's no water on it. What happens? The people going down the water slide are all going to get all crammed up, and it's going to be hard to push themselves down the water slide. And, you add water, streaming flow, those people just slide right out. Same thing happens with your poop. So anyway, there's more things, but gosh, there's nothing more important than water. That's the one thing we can't go without for more than a few days without death.
Wow. Oh, Cheryl, I got to get Cheryl.
Just a quickie on juice and pop. You don't want soda, you don't want juice. They both have 10 to 12 teaspoons of sugar in them. And soda is gut rot, but fruit juices are right up there with them. So what you need is water. So make sure that you're finding ways to get your whole family, your kids, everybody to drink water, whether you're on vacation or not.
I'm over here. I feel like Home Alone. I'm like, I'm just learning. You just don't know, ladies, how much I need to contact you after all this. Because, I'm thinking I've been drinking my water really good. I was like, yay, I'm drinking my water. And then what happens? I come on the show today. Well, if you're drinking bottled water, all those, I'm like, and I got.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You don't have to feel guilty about it. This is not shaming. It's progress, not perfection. Exactly. That is awesome that you're drinking all that water, Barbara. I am so happy and proud of you. And you're doing really, really great. I go by the good, better, best philosophy. So you're doing better. And then there's still room for best.
Well, you know what, Patrice, thank you so much. You showing the love. All you ladies showing the love to me. But I want to move on, because we have some, because we want to play Cheryl's clip before that. But before that, there's some health tips, just a few, that I want to show people. And then we're going to get into Cheryl's video, because she is really talking about things when you have certain things health-wise that you're dealing with, and you got to do things to make sure that it continues on. But let's get these little quick health tips. I love the little baby. I mean, I have to say,
Yes.
she every time I see that, I just put the smile, and it said that's one of the good health tips. So, I mean, I know you've seen the video before we get to Cheryl's video. Did anybody want to make any comment about some of the tips that was shown? Cheryl?
Just smiling. Your mouth going up sends signals to turn all your happy hormones on, whether you're faking or the difference. The smiling makes you happy just by the act of doing it.
Yes. Nicole.
So smiling actually helps boost what we call oxytocin, which is our love hormone, which most people have never heard of oxytocin. So oxytocin is known by moms usually when babies are nursing, but we all have oxytocin. So we want to do those things. Smiling is one of them. When we're on vacation, taking in all those moments, taking those pictures, but going back and actually looking at those pictures and remembering the joy of that vacation will actually boost your oxytocin. When we boost our oxytocin, it actually boosts our serotonin as well, which most people are more familiar with, which is causes less depression. So oxytocin is super important. So taking in those good vibes and those good pictures and those moments and really kind of reliving them is super important as well. So, and it starts with smiling, sometimes petting animals. Going to a zoo is a great thing for boosting your oxytocin. It's just one of those maternal things. Most people love animals and they enjoy seeing animals, and that boosts that oxytocin, which boosts our serotonin, which boosts our mood.
Oh, I have to show. Okay, I have to put this on. Thank you.
Oops.
So much. Yeah.
Oh, she's pixelating. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
she's pixelating. There
Here we
she
go.
is.
Put her by your face. There we
She's
go.
such a little sweetie.
Oh,
There she is.
yay.
Yeah.
She's so sweet. I would like to give a tip for, and it serves multiple purposes. Before you get out of the car to go eat, right? And when I think of vacation, I think of my parents always taking us to the Cracker Barrel, right? If you want high fat, high calorie food, that's where you go. It's such a not great place for our health. Before you get out of the car, you're going to do the door handle memo. Just say that in your head, the door handle memo. The minute your hand touches the door, you're going to push your feet against the floor. You're going to squeeze your thighs, squeeze your butt, squeeze your stomach muscles, squeeze your chest muscles, squeeze both arms, drop into your body completely. Now open the door and see what you want to choose to eat, because it realigns you with your body, which would probably realign you with your intention for self-love, right? And then you may choose not the mac and cheese, what they're famous for, but the healthier choices that Cheryl, and I mean everybody can speak well to. So thank you. The door. Thank you.
Say it again. You said the door.
The door handle memo. The minute you touch the door, you're like, oh, I got the memo. And then you just go, boom.
Wow.
I love that.
I love that. Anybody else real quickly before we go to Cheryl's tip? We're good? Okay. Well, Cheryl, I want to play your tip, lady. It was so important. I love how you express this because I know you deal with something health-wise and, gives people a lot of hope here. So let me play your clip and we'll talk a little bit about it.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Meyer. I'm otherwise known as Cheryl M. Health Muse, and I want to give you a couple of food vacation tips so that you eat well, you feel fantastic, and you have a terrific vacation. I have fibromyalgia, so I have to plan ahead because if I eat the standard American diet, my body complains. So what do? I plan it out. We know where we're going to stay. We stay in hotels that have refrigerators, or I call the hotel to see if I can put food in their refrigerator. I find the restaurants in the area that look like they can feed me healthy. I call the chef. I negotiate with him to make sure he's got the right food to feed me so that I feel my best. I plan out where the Whole Foods is and the Sprouts and the Trader Joe's and the places where I can buy healthy food so that there's nothing left to the imagination. I have a plan everywhere we're going where I know I'm going to be able to get the right food, because feeling my best is part of me having a great vacation.
I'm loving it. I got to put Miss Cheryl on the screen here. Yes, lady.
Eating healthy is non-negotiable to me. My body screams at me with symptoms if I don't pay attention to what I put in my mouth. So I control it, and it's easier to do. If I'm going to a restaurant, I know exactly where I'm going to go, and I to meet me because I've already had a fun conversation with him, and he knows I'm coming. And sometimes they make me things, and I eat better than anybody else in my party. Don't be afraid to plan and put out there what it is in your body, because restaurants want your business. Then they are more than happy to take all the vegetables from all their plates and make you something fabulous. So don't be afraid to plan out that you're going to take care of your body, so the whole time you're feeling fantastic and you're not feeding any symptoms that could come up while you're on your road.
Love it, love it, love it. Just show this real quickly. I know you're going in and out sometimes because I don't know if it's your earbuds, but just because we want to make sure we hear all this good information you're saying. So I just want you to check that out. But yes, planning ahead is good. Anybody else want to go? Okay, Miss Nicole.
So I love, Cheryl, that you plan ahead, and we can do that with, depending on where we're going. If we're on a plane, we can bring healthy snacks with us. If we're in a car, we can bring healthy snacks with us. And so oftentimes our kids don't feel like they fit in if they're bringing snacks. So I think it's really important, if we're working with children at all, to let them know that their body is super important, even when they're on vacation or if they're going to camp, that type of thing. And it's okay to be different. And I think that's, it's a big thing, because like one of my grandkids has some sensitivities, and and we remind him there are a lot of kids now that are gluten and dairy free, right? So even if they're going to camp or they're going on to a restaurant or wherever they're going, it's okay to really talk with your kids and let them know how important the health of their body is. And I think that's something that we forget when we're going to all these places, and parents will go to Disneyland or Universal, and we need to look for snacks for them or pre-plan for them. So we often think about adults going on vacation, but kids go too. And there are a lot of kids that, believe it or not, have autoimmune symptoms from the time they're 8, 9, 10 years old, or they do have sensitivities. So we need to keep those kids in mind as well, and pre-plan for them and make it fun. So make eating fun for them, and that they don't feel like they're losing out. And I love that Caprice is actually raising her hand, because she's going to piggyback probably with exactly what I think she's going to say. So I would love if Caprice could go right after me.
Okay, I'm going to let
completely
Caprice go.
Because I personally have a child that has sensitivities, and Nicole's actually his amazing holistic nutritionist. So very grateful. And he's making a ton of progress, but it's very difficult for and he's not even a kid anymore. He's in his early 20s. So it's very difficult. So, but having said that, just what Nicole says, that it's becoming more of a standard. Every restaurant now is used to getting customizations. I mean, they're offering it on the menu, and they'll go beyond that. But as far as going on a vacation with and making it healthy, I have a wonderful e-cookbook with all kinds of great recipes, and you can make gluten-free treats and things that are easy to carry with you, all different kinds, using a variety of very nutritious ingredients that are gluten-free if you need it, or dairy-free if you need it. And you can customize those things to your needs. honestly, you could plug into AI what your needs are now, and it'll spit back all the ingredients that can go in your Powerball or your bar or whatever it is you're making. So you can make ice cream pops. All kinds of things can be done very simply. So if you'd like that ebook, just let me know. I also have an ebook on mocktails. But it's not that difficult, but you do want to also be, deprivation isn't a good thing. And if someone feels deprived, it can lead to eating disorders. My brother's an eating disorder specialist. So you also have to be careful about that. So it's a fine balance.
Well, thank you. Before we go to anybody else that's want to chime in, there was just a comment about Disneyland. I wanted to, if we could put that back.
Tamara commented.
Yeah, going to Disneyland, they have lockers. We would bring healthy snacks and foods and put them in the lockers. It's a way allowed. Hopefully this still is. Hopefully it is. That is awesome if they could do that. Cheryl, did you have something to say on that?
Eating healthy doesn't necessarily mean being deprived. You can eat all kinds of absolute food that happens to be good for your body.
Tell that to an 18-year-old, though. Tell that to an 18-year-old. Like we do have to be mindful of that. But I agree, they have to learn to be able to realize that, and it takes some time, some progress for those people. But I agree with you, Cheryl.
It does take some time, Cheryl, and I work with a lot of young people, and making that switch, especially if they've been this kid who's been eating these different things, and then all of a sudden they're diagnosed with something, or they realize they're not feeling good with something. So there is that big mindset component that goes as well. And as parents and as friends and as humans and as women, and we just need to be very observant of what happens mentally when all of a sudden you are eating Cheetos with your friends and all of a sudden you are now on a gluten-free diet. There is a big mindset component. And when you are between the ages of, say, 21 to 35, honestly, that is a really big period of time where people are just not certain about making changes. They're trying to fit in the adult world. And there's just a lot of things that go, I have a psychological background. So there's a lot that has to go into making those switches. And so it's really important that if somebody's in that situation, they work with somebody that knows the sense, that they need to change this, not just this.
So mindset related.
Well, before
Cheryl, based on what you said, you'll laugh. When my kids were young, we used to go to
Caprice.
Disneyland, and I brought a bag of carrots. So I would bring a big old one of those big bags of carrots so that it would last my 3 kids all day long, and myself to just munch, because that saved us a ton of money, because they weren't always starving and wanting to stop and buy the next $25, corn dog. But it's funny, the looks that I would get in the lines. Like, what are your kids eating? So there are ways that you can do what you're talking about, for sure, especially starting young, so that they don't have to get to be 21 years old or 25 years old and have to struggle with what Nicole's talking about.
Okay, before we go, I got to run in here. So I want to make sure, because going back to Cheryl, because she was making a point, I know everybody was so engulfed in that topic, but I wanted her to finish that, because like she said, you don't have to deprive yourself. And I know the age of 18 and everything that you're saying, but I want her to finish that one part that she was trying to explain.
Yeah, I have a whole list of healthy treats that anybody would enjoy eating. They just happen to be good for your body. And it could be as simple as a chocolate that's 70% or desire for sweet. There's a whole bunch of different things that your kids probably would like if they thought about it. And it starts with what their parents adults. So if the adults are eating healthy, then the kids are more likely to eat healthy.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up. And I know some people might want to chime in, and we have, with time, I want to make it just a little bit shorter. But I want to just say that for myself, I had one parent that was eating the right way, my dad. Then I had my mother, total opposite. So I'm in a household where I'm like, do you eat, the salads, or do you eat the cheeseburgers that my mother was doing, or the hot dogs? So I think, like she said, it always starts because when you're young, you don't know. So the parents, if they bring that in, I think once you move up in age, you remember the things that they're giving you. And then from that point, you make those decisions and choices as you move on. So I want to give Nicole some love here.
So I've been a nutritionist now for about 17 years. And one of the things that I see, especially in families, I had a mom who didn't know how to cook. And and when I say she didn't know how to cook, it was TV dinner time because she really would burn water. She would forget it was on the stove. And I say that with love. She didn't like being in the kitchen. Cooking wasn't a thing. So she literally would give us TV dinners, and it'd be, do you want turkey or do you want meatloaf? Right. So, and it became the age of convenience when I was young. So, and that convenience spills over even in today. So I learned how to cook at a very young age because my father wanted to have healthier meals and he wanted homemade meals. So by the time I was 11, I was cooking 2, 3, 4 nights a week so we could actually have homemade meals. Unfortunately, it is such a world of convenience, and parents are busy, and often there are 2 people that are working in a family. And so it's really super important to teach families how to eat healthy, because oftentimes it's not that they are choosing to eat bad. They don't know what they don't know. Unless sometimes people have a health condition that pops up, they don't know what they don't know. And then they try to start learning. And there's so much mixed information out there on the internet as well. You can read that tomatoes are anti-inflammatory, but then you can read that they're inflammatory. So it's super important that we start educating, families, not just 1 or 2 people when a health condition comes up. And then the other thing I think we really need to be mindful with that is not everybody is a cook and they're afraid to be in the kitchen. So I do have a cooking show online on YouTube, and it really is about eating healthy, easy, and good for you recipes that are super easy to make, because there's a lot of my mothers out there that don't feel comfortable in a kitchen. So the other thing we can start teaching people, and I teach people every day, is to meal prep, because we are busy. And so if we don't meal prep 1 or 2 days a week, being in that kitchen can be very daunting. And so it's very easy to give your kids something that is very like pre-made somewhere, or something that comes out of a can or a box or whatever, because again, it's convenience. So, I think it's our job as people in the wellness industry is to teach people how to meal prep and how to take care of our families and how to make healthier recipes that are super easy to make. So if anybody wants to follow me on YouTube, you can follow me on YouTube as well.
Awesome, Nicole. Okay, so we're gonna play a game. I incorporated this game that when I'm co-hosting. So it's a 30-second game. So since we just have a little time before we close, I want to make sure everybody hears just a little last tip or whatever you want to talk about for our health. But it has to be 30 seconds, or else I'm going to switch you out and I'm going to put me in. So I'm giving you the rules. So when you see yourself switched out the middle, your 30 seconds is up. Okay, so we'll start with Cheryl.
I'm going to pick up on what Nori said. I believe health is self-love. Love yourself enough to make the time to make room for all the healthy habits that will serve you well as you go into your future. Because by the time you're my age in your 70s, you want to feel great. You don't want to be on pills and waiting for whatever's going to happen next. So love yourself enough to eat well, to exercise, to breathe, to release your stress, to get enough sleep, all the healthy habits. Take a look at self-love, because that's how you teach other people to love you as well.
Awesome. Yes.
Hi, thank you. So the trainer in me wants to speak to the feel-good factor, because I can tell my clients, especially teenagers, what to eat, but that's not going to make a difference. And it takes a little bit more awareness of the parent or whoever's coaching them to say, what'd you just eat? How do you feel? I remember eating things that put me to bed, right, when I was a teenager, and then have them eat something good. How do you feel? Let them begin to expand this game called the feel good factor. Do I feel good after eating this? No. Do I feel good after eating this? Yeah. Then you naturally will gravitate, because childhood obesity is at epidemic proportions right now. So this is something so close to my heart. Thank you.
Hi, I want everybody to go on more vacations. So this talk started out with vacations and being healthy. And I just want everybody to enjoy their vacations. So to live a longer life, you need to drink lots of water, right? I would love for you to eat grass-fed beef, organic chicken, wild-caught salmon, those healthy things that we get, organic produce, get those great nutrients into us. And remember that fun and having that oxytocin for our system and to boost our serotonin is a super important way to have longevity.
Awesome. And Caprice. She's on mute, and the seconds are counting.
I'd like to impress on everyone that eating healthy is not expensive and it's not hard. And a lot of people have a mindset where they've convinced themselves of that, and it's a limited belief that's preventing them from living a long, vital, healthy life. So just try to stock your fridge. It's not that expensive. It's a lot less expensive than the alternative, what you're maybe buying going out, or buying convenience foods that are more expensive. It is not hard. You can batch cook for the week and have plenty that's going to fuel your body and serve you much better.
Awesome, ladies. Awesome. I just want to say, I got these crooked. Just want to say thank you so much for letting me be a guest host today on the show. Each and every one of you are amazing. And what the word is? Fabulous. So with that said, everybody, see you next Sunday. And we will definitely, please reach out to these ladies. A lot of information. You know, they know their stuff. And again, thank you, Tamara, Queen Tamara, for letting me be on the show, being a host. And we will see you next week. Take care.
You were awesome, Barbara. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tamara Hunter. Let's talk. I want to say thank you for joining us today, and a huge thank you to our guest hosts, our panel, and all of those that contributed to make this show fabulous, especially you. And welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.